The shares of Sasol is down in the past 5 days over 9%. But of course, if you have to go and also check these shares of Sasol in a period of a month, you will notice that they are down 20%. But the good thing is that year to date, meaning that from January to date until today, the shares of Sasol are still up 28%, which is something that is incredible, especially to those that bought the shares of Sasol last year. And of course, you know that one of the main reasons why the shares of Sasol are trading this high is because of the oil price being high. So you know that obviously, since Sasol also produces or use this oil to produce fuel or petrol, it is one of the main things that obviously when the prices of oil globally rises, they are also going to benefit from the increase of oil, because it means that even the prices which of course they are selling or supplying this oil would just definitely means that it has to be high. So the fact that we've been seeing crude oil prices over $100 per barrel a few weeks ago, it is one of the things that of course Sasol benefited from, because this, like I said, makes Sasol to also obviously increase the prices which they are selling this kind of products. I mean, you know that petrol is one of the things that we have been seeing it rising, especially concurrently with the oil prices surging. So when oil prices surge, of course petrol prices will also rise, which is why companies that produces gas or petrol are benefiting from the high prices, which is why, or one of the main things that has been making the shares of Sasol obviously to also rise. Ladies and gents, Sasol currently has a 52-week low of around 195 rands with a 52-week high of 438 rands. Now, if you had to check from the 52-week high, obviously you'll notice that the shares have been dropping a bit. But like I said, year to date, the shares or these shares of Sasol are still up over 28%, which should be something that obviously excites the investors or those that are investing into this stock. But what does the future, or what does the near future looks like in Sasol, or to those that are investing in Sasol? And that, ladies and gents, is one of the main things that I want to discuss with you on today's video. But of course, before we go any further, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and you should not take it as a professional financial advice video. Now, I'll really appreciate if you hit that likes button should you enjoy the content that I'll be giving you about the Sasol stock, as I know that locally in SA, obviously this is one of the stocks that obviously a lot of people like and they talk a lot about. So if you do enjoy the content that I'll be giving you about this stock as to what is it that we can expect the shares of Sasol to be like probably at the end of this year, please stay tuned on this video and make sure that of course you watch this video until the end, so that at least you get my full analysis, or the analysis which I will be giving you as to where do I think the shares of course Sasol will be. Otherwise, from the latest quarterly earnings or statements, we noticed that, or we saw that Sasol, in terms of total revenues, they reported the total revenues which were up 30% year over year, meaning that when you look at those statements which they provided or gave us, which by the way they were for the period ending in December of 2021, we saw that obviously in terms of total revenue which they generate, it was up 30%, which is something that is always good to watch. But one thing that obviously was, I think, a bit of a concern, or should be a bit of a concern, was the profit or the net profit margin, which obviously was down 20%. And the profit margin of Sasol is right now around 12%, which, like I said, to those that are investing into Sasol, it's not something that is good, because this just definitely means that the total expenses, of course, or subtracting the total expenses which they use to produce your petrol and diesel and all the other things which they produce, they are just remaining with around 12% as their net profit. So this we read, or we saw that it was down over 20% from the, of course, net margin, which of course they had given us the year before, which, like I said, if you're investing into Sasol, one of the most important thing obviously will be for you to monitor this kind of a figure, because this tells you of course, or shows you how much Sasol will make or is making from the products which they are producing, which is very important. Now, coming to the prediction, now, as I've said, as I've indicated to you yesterday, as I was reading another article, or one of the articles which of course were important, which, by the way, after reading that article, made me to obviously want to come and share it with you, is that one of the big institutions in America indicated or came out and said that if the global demand in oil, of course, reduces or comes down, then the price of oil, ladies and gents, we might see it heading back to $65 per barrel. Remember that at the beginning of this video, I did indicate to you that one of the main reasons why the shares of Sasol are trading this high, or are trading high, is simply because of the oil prices also were high. We saw oil passing $100 per barrel, I mean, a few weeks ago. It is one of the main reasons that, of course, has been boosting the share price of Sasol. So if oil prices go to that $65, it definitely means that obviously also the share price of Sasol is going to go down, because part of it going up was because of the oil prices surging over $100 per barrel. Now, if you notice yesterday, you'll notice that the price of oil dropped below 100, or came below 100, which is something that obviously was a concern. And if you notice, the shares of Sasol have been dropping quite for quite some time. And of course, today, I think per barrel oil is trading at around $96, which, yeah, it looks like the trend is continuing to drop and drop and drop. And part of it dropping, ladies and gents, it's because you know by now that petrol is quite expensive. And this is not only a South African problem, but this is a problem that we are seeing in most of the countries worldwide. So this is one of the things that obviously it's making the shares of course, Sasol and other stocks that of course sell petrol or oil products like petrol and other things, we are seeing them surging. But obviously, when we see, of course, the shares of oil dropping like this, or per barrel dropping like this, this just means that those stocks that of course benefited from the price of oil surging are definitely also going to start dropping, or we are going to start seeing them dropping, which is the very same thing that obviously we are going to start seeing if indeed the price of oil per barrel goes back to $65. We are definitely going to see also Sasol shares being impacted by that. So I personally think that if we are to get to see, and of course Citigroup indicate that this, we might get to see this towards the end of the year, the price of oil going down to $65 per barrel. So I personally think that obviously if we get to see that happening, then the shares of Sasol will also drop along with the price of oil dropping. So this is of course one of the things, like I said, that I just thought I should just come and give you. As you know that obviously we talk everything about the stock market, and yes, I know that Sasol is one of the companies that I've not discussed in broad with you, but I just thought I should just give you this quick update. I personally don't own this stock, but obviously there are people that are very close to me who own this stock, and I just want them, or I'm just making you to be aware of what it is we can expect on Sasol, on the Sasol stock in the near future. But otherwise, this is still, I personally believe that it's still a very good long-term stock, except for the profit margin. I still think that this is a stock that is, it's not doing that bad, it's still doing good, especially if, since we are seeing, or we saw the revenues growing by over 30% from the financial or quarterly financials which they give us for the period ending in December of 2021. Otherwise, we thought that, guys, I just thought I should just give you this quick updates. And if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that like button, comment and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that at least you can get notified by YouTube every time I drop or release a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And obviously, before you load the boat or increase your holdings onto Sasol, please consider doing your own DD so that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing into this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.